So what do I eat in a day as a holistic nutritionist? What is a day of real, simple meals look like? That's what I'm going to be showing you in today's video. So let's dive in. I'm focusing on eating more foods. We're not just what we eat, we are what we digest. I'm Kezia Hall, I'm a holistic nutritionist, and in this YouTube channel, I'm trying to show you how I am imperfectly trying to apply all of the nutritional science and the holistic lifestyle habits into a life as a working mum with 3 little kids, working 2 jobs, and just having a really full and fun life. I want this to be a really messy, imperfect snapshot of just what it looks like in hectic school runs and mornings and keeping to food budgets, how it is that I'm applying some of the nutritional science around what's really going to optimize and support my hormones, support my brain and complex PTSD and things like suspected autism, as well as what's actually just going to be really nourishing. So today I want to share with you just a normal day and what I have been eating. So generally, a bit of background, if you're totally new to me, hi, I'm Kezia. I don't eat gluten. I haven't eaten gluten for probably about 17 years. It originally started with helping in order to help with all my gut issues. That's a whole long story, having IBS, bowel issues, joint pain, so I tend to avoid gluten most of the time. I was also dairy free for about 15 years, but in the last 2 years I've started to introduce more goat dairy and now can tolerate more yogurt, but introducing dairy is still a relatively new thing. I tend to keep the sugar low because I just find that's really helpful for my mental health. And I'm a holistic nutritionist, so I am a geek and I look at all the science and the nutrition, especially as I'm kind of entering that perimenopause stage. I also have 3 little kids, and so I'm looking at fiber and protein, but also I'm needing to look at time. I don't have hours every day to make and spend on meals. I work for a mental health charity. I run my own business as a holistic nutritionist and have my own online clinical practice. So how on earth do we get healthy, whole, organic food into this body and into the bodies of my family and children in a way that's not completely overwhelming or feels really obsessive, but is also just not perfect? So I'm going to guide you through what I have been eating today, what that looks like in a typical normal day, and share with you a couple of important things. So this is me just after I've woken up. It's about 6 a.m. And before I head to the gym, I am making sure I grab a little something to eat. I'll have a big glass of water with some lemon and salt or electrolytes in. And in the last 12 months or so, my focus has been on building more muscle so I can support my hormones, my longevity, and just feel really strong and regain a lot of that muscle that I lost in having 3 children. I don't work out fasted. It really stresses my body out and feels awful. So I aim to get about 15 grams of protein and about 15 to 30 grams of carbs, depending on how much cardio or intense kind of HIIT training I'm planning on doing. I don't measure this out. This is just roughly what I'm aiming for. Right now, I'm really in the groove of making a raw cacao in the morning. I use ceremonial grade cacao, and I make that with some skimmed goat milk, and then I add some stevia and adaptogen called Chandra, and you'll see me having added some collagen, so that's where I'm getting the protein. And I'm also planning on doing some sprint training at the gym on the assault bike, so I also have half of a hot cross bun, a gluten-free hot cross bun here, just to get those carbs in and to make sure that I can have fun at the gym. And I take my supplements too. So this is me just grabbing a quick 3-minute meditation, getting my cacao before I head into the car and go to the gym. So once I am back from the gym, this is roughly between 7:15. I try to do about 45, 50, sometimes an hour workout. But once I am back home, it is all go. It is time for the kids' breakfast, the pack lunches, my breakfast, sorting out shoes, getting PJs, people out of PJs, just the whole thing. It's a bit chaotic. So this is me just making my own breakfast. I've got some berries, I've got a little bit of pre-made granola, I'm adding some more collagen, and I'm adding a ton of yogurt to it for added protein. I do a mixture of goat yogurt, fat-free goat's yogurt, and soy yogurt after not having dairy for like 15 years. I don't love the taste of normal cow's yogurt, so I still mix it in with some soy, and I get some of the phytoestrogens as well from the soy. And basically make a big bowl like this and eat while sorting out the chaos of the rest of my house. I went back for cheeky seconds of the granola because I had a really good workout and I was hungry, so So this is me actually making my son's packed lunch. This is not what I'm going to be eating at all, but I love making a packed lunch, or I love watching people make a packed lunch. It's very satisfying. With my kids, I'm always trying to make sure that they get enough fiber, fat, and protein, and obviously some healthy carbs as well. But kids generally are carb machines, so trying to get them to eat protein is more of the tricky thing. But mornings are pretty hectic. You know, when you have 3 little kids, we're doing school run, nursery run, drop off, there's tantrums, there's feelings, there's I need to get dressed. So I don't always follow all of my own rules in the morning. I'm not always eating and sitting down peacefully. Sometimes I'm eating the kids' leftover eggs, but I do aim to try and sit down, eat my food, and often by the end of the school routine and the school drop off, my little Aura ring, my little fitness tracker is often asking me what kind of workout that I've done. So it's pretty hectic, which is why I really prioritize getting up earlier and having that time for me in the morning before all the chaos begins. And then me and my husband had a quick spontaneous trip to Starbucks. I got a matcha iced latte. Both of us were just working, but we had a little non-date working date where we both just sat like geeks on our computers and worked for a few hours. So I'm on my lunch break and I'm going to do one lunch that is currently my most favorite. It's like a kimchi goat's cheese omelette, which maybe sounds disgusting to some of you, but it's currently, I go through fads and phases with foods, and it's currently one of my favorite lunches. So let's go make it. So I'm using 3 eggs for this, and I also have some egg white in the house. I don't actually normally use egg whites massively. It's just because the gluten-free bread recipe I use requires egg whites. So I just buy, I'm not a big egg white omelette protein because I think egg whites on their own taste kind of gross, don't they? So I'm just gonna put 3 eggs in here. I'm not a big measurer, dollop in probably, I don't know, an extra tablespoon of egg white. I've also got some onions that are in the pan just to get some extra fiber. They're really nice and high in certain types of fibers that have got out of my brain that are really good for your gut health. So on most working days, I like to have pretty quick lunches. I often try to have stuff pre-made, like leftover dinners or soups and things made in the fridge. If I don't have any of that, eggs tend to be my go-to. They're a great source of choline, great source of protein, great source of fats. Oh, really nutrient dense eggs are. So got my eggs, so I'm gonna make it. I'm just interrupting myself here because I've been working with people and women on a one-to-one basis now for like nearly 10 years. So often lunch is what's difficult for people, but I'd love to know in the comments below, what mealtime do you find difficult? Do you know what to have for lunch? A lot of the time my clients are kind of struggling to know how to get enough protein, how to eat gluten-free around lunchtime. So I would love your tips, and if you have any questions about lunchtime, put it down below. I've also just remembered I've got some leftover roast potatoes and leftover roast carrots. We had a venison shank roast dinner at the weekend. Really fancy. Never done that before. So I think I want to put some of these in as well. So before having kids, I made a lot of fermented foods myself. So this is the kimchi that I'm putting in there. And then after having 3 kids in 2 years and also some awful pregnancies, fermenting foods was not something I could tolerate. And now I just don't have time for it. But thankfully, you know, I was making vats of sauerkraut like 10 years ago, but now you can actually buy some decent unpasteurized fermented foods. This is what I'm using much more easily than you used to be able to. Also, another point. So today I'm focusing on eating more food. I'm going out for dinner later. So today I'm probably typically going to be eating more food than I was going to say that I normally do, but that's not true at all. I generally eat a lot of food. I generally tell my clients to eat a lot of food. The advice I give to most of the women I work with is eat more food. So I'm hoping to give you a bit of an example of that today. I remembered those roast potatoes because I also was like, oh, I need some carbs with this. Otherwise, an omelette could be quite a high protein, high fat meal. And because I was at the gym this morning, I definitely do need to get some carbs in there as well as some protein, as well as some fiber. Tick, tick, tick. All the nutrients, all the goodness in one meal. It's really, really important, especially if you are looking to build some muscle, which I've currently been on a very slow, very gentle, but effective journey this last year of building more muscle in my body, and protein is really essential for that, but so is carbs. And this is 100% real life. You can see the Hey Dougie doobie in the background, my coat, the Hoover. The fridge is covered by original artworks from my 3 kids, and obviously the bin. So, yeah, don't expect curated perfectionism here. This is just me and my kitchen in real life. So one of the things that holds a lot of women back is the dieting brainwashing that we've had, that eating less is best. Now, on this channel, I am going to show you a couple of days where I'm calling like more fasting days, where I do have slightly less food, that I'm just eating slightly less food in a day. But generally speaking, 80-90% of the time, I'm focusing on eating more foods. So I'm focusing on eating whole, unprocessed proteins, fats, carbs. I don't particularly follow like any low carb or whatever. I'll maybe go through that in another video. I've cycled through GAPS, through paleo. I've been vegan for a while. I generally find eating good quality whole foods and having done so much work on my digestion to be able to digest the foods, because we're not just what we eat, we are what we digest. And I have a whole podcast called The Gut Goddess Show that will tell you more about that. But generally speaking, making sure you're eating more food is really, really important. Sometimes, most of the time when I'm working with clients, like I am, especially with clients that are maybe looking to shift their body composition, like they're not eating enough food. I am eating more food than them. And so it's just a part of this brainwashing we've had. I joined a slimming club when I was age 14. So this has been a lot of kind of indoctrination that I've had to undo. And actually, the thing that's going to help your gut health and your hormones the most is learning how to really nourish your body on quality foods and figure out what those foods are for you. So I don't eat gluten. It's only in the last 2 years that I've really started eating dairy. I try not to eat a lot of sugar because it really doesn't help my brain and complex PTSD and suspected autism. Like, it doesn't serve me. So again, a lot of this is personalized, and this channel is just to show you what I do and how I try to apply the science to my very full life as a working mum with 3 kids. So here we are. I'm not going to win any points for presentation. I just added some celery because crunch, fiber, goodness. I don't really have any of the salad stuff in the house because we're still in March. Don't really do salads in March. But this should keep me going for quite a while. And then I realised I was still hungry a little bit, even though that was a massive omelette. So I had half a pita bread with a cacao and some almond butter and a little bit of banana on top. Super yummy. And then I went out for dinner. We went to this super lovely place, and it does like little tapas dishes. So we got lots of little dishes. We had sourdough. There was this amazing butter and pate. We had a ravioli. There was like this yummy curry. I had some naturally fermented prosecco. This curry was amazing. It was like a lemon rendang. I was not up for sharing it. That's the only downside with tapas, is I'm meant to share it with my husband. This was also scallops on this orzo pasta. So I had all the gluten, all the dairy. It was super delightful. I love food. I love eating good food. This was the pudding. This was actually probably the least good thing. This was a cheesecake that I felt was more like a cake, but I still ate it all and thought it was like the best thing ever. So there you go. That is a day of eating with my focus on trying to listen to my body, eat intuitively, but also really apply the nutritional science, making sure I'm getting enough fiber, enough protein in there, that I'm being mindful of my sugar intake. And on a day like today, especially just making sure I'm eating a good amount of food, really feasting, enjoying food, not having a lot of mental drama about it, prioritizing whole, real, organic food. That's what this channel is going to be about, really helping you just look at what it could look like to add in more healing, nourishing, wonderful, yummy food to your life that's going to help your brain, your hormones, your gut, help every aspect of your life without it being this dry, pedantic, elite field. Also, I want to know, what would you like to see here? on the channel. This is a relatively new channel, and I would love for it to be as helpful and useful and inspiring as possible. So if you have any questions about how much protein to eat, or about fiber, or what to eat for your hormones, let me know in the comments below, and I will aim to do a whole video on it. So I hope you join me for the next episode. And as this channel goes, I'm going to be showing you my attempts to grow food, potentially even keeping some chickens or ducks in the garden, our plans for our garden, and how to create a mini homestead, because I'm passionate about eating food, as you can see. But I'm also going to try my hand at growing and making more food so that I can get the most organic, nutrient-dense, yummy foods possible for me and my family. So see you in the next episode.